Common Misconceptions 6.0, states. November 18, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. You can have a state of mind, and you can have a state of state, and you can have a state of state and a state of grace. You can have a federal state and you can have a Confederate state and you can have a natural state, and emotional states and inchoate states and dependent states and sovereign states and territorial states and, well, you get the idea. We could go on for half a page or so, just to scrape the barrel, but obviously, the word state is not one you can take for granted. In the actual, factual place called America, when we say state, we mean a physical state defined by political borders. These states are governed by the state assembly population living within the borders of each state. These states all function in a dual capacity: first, as a nation-state in control of the soil jurisdiction and as a member state of the United States, and second, as a state of the Union, functioning in international jurisdiction and acting as a member of the unincorporated federation doing business as the United States of America. Now take in the key words: physical borders, state assembly, population, nation-state, soil jurisdiction, the United States, State of the Union, international jurisdiction, federation, the United States of America. We are talking about actual places and people, and associating them with imaginary borders and jurisdictions and organizations. It's what we call a hybrid reality, where we attempt to organize and govern what is actual and factual via a series of thought constructs. The first such thought construct is provided by the political borders that define a state, and then all the political borders that define counties or parishes or townships, etc., as political subunits within each state are added. This provides a framework that we use to establish and organize local government authority over land and soil resources, including the people who live on the land and soil. The second thought construct is the definition of the eligible population comprising the state assembly to govern each state. Each state has a population of people who live within its borders on a permanent basis, and who take part in the local county assembly or state assembly or both. The third thought construct is the definition of the jurisdictions: air, land, sea, and soil. As a practical matter, land and soil are often clumped together. Surface water belongs to the soil jurisdiction, unless we are talking about navigable inland waterways. Large freshwater rivers like the Mississippi River merge with and become part of the sea jurisdiction. Underground water aquifers belong to the land jurisdiction. And air is everything impermanent above the surface of the soil, including water vapor and radio frequency radiation, smog, fog, jet streams, flight corridors, Wi-Fi, electricity, and flights of fancy. The air jurisdiction is the realm of thought where all these thought constructs come from in the first place, and therefore also the realm of logos, trademarks, patents, and copyrights. The fourth thought construct we've encountered is another layer of reality removed from the level of the rocks and trees, organizations that form as a result of the political subdivisions and thought frameworks we've created for our convenience thus far. The states, as represented by their state assemblies, join their international land jurisdictions together as members of the United States of America, and join their national soil jurisdictions together as members of the United States, which is also called the Union. Thus far, we have only considered what we mean in the traditional American government when we say state. There is another kind of state that comes into play in our American government. Each state has a state of state organization associated with it, and these state of state organizations are called Confederate States, all of them, both North and South. Please note, this can cause a lot of confusion, because both the actual state and its Confederate state of state can be called a state, when in fact, they are very different entities and are of different natures and have different levels of authority. By their nature, state assemblies are only called into session when necessary, because the population of each state is busy living life and pursuing jobs outside of government. The state of state organizations, by contrast, are paid to provide the routine services that the state assemblies approve of, on a year-round basis. These are the bureaucrats and offices that we are all familiar with, and which many people confuse with the actual state. The state of state organizations are actually our employees. They are borrowing delegated authority from our state, operating under the guidance of their state legislature, and their primary function is to engage in international trade and asset management, and to provide routine government services approved by the state assembly. Please note, you have a state and you have a state of state. Both. Your state is a member of the United States of America, which is a federation of similar states of the Union. Your state of state is supposed to be a member of the States of America, which is a confederation of such business organizations. We will get to the supposed to be later. Thus, we have the soil jurisdiction nation-states forming the United States, also known as the Union. National, soil. We have international jurisdiction states that are members of the United States of America, our unincorporated federation. International, land and sea. We have international sea jurisdiction states of states that are supposed to be business members of the States of America Confederation, operating under delegated powers of the states. International, sea. And finally, we have global commercial states of states. Global, air. If you take your thought constructs one step farther away from the actual and factual world, you land in the air jurisdiction and the airy-fairy world of global commerce. Although it isn't necessary, you can also have a state-of-state organization, which is incorporated for the specific purpose of taking part in global commerce. Commerce is defined as business between two incorporated entities. Commercial state-of-state organizations are chartered and guaranteed by sovereign governments, but not necessarily your own. To summarize: 1. The United States, soil jurisdiction, county assemblies, local government, private local business. 2. The United States of America, land and sea jurisdiction, state assemblies, interstate and international business. 3. The States of America, missing confederation, delegated sea jurisdiction, state-of-state legislature, government services, interstate and international business. 4. States of states operating in global commerce, have to be chartered and guaranteed by a sovereign government, but not necessarily your sovereign state government.